All right, and we are back here on Couch Coach Live, the final episode of 2024 Under the Lights here on a special Monday night edition. What's going on, Mal?
What's up, man? Long time no see.
It's been a minute, yeah, man. It's the
Been a minute,
holidays,
yeah.
man, and yeah, man. And I always kind of knew this stretch was gonna be kind of, especially with the holiday falling on Wednesday. Obviously, Christmas is on
Mhm.
Wednesday, normal slide in the sense, and then the day. New Year's Day is on Wednesday. And it's like, well, Monday seemed like there was only way to do it this week because we didn't do one last week because, everything creeped up. It's weird like having
Right,
holidays. It's like, it's this time of year, but then you think, oh, yeah, that's right. I got to do this Monday night. I got
right,
Christmas Eve Tuesday night. And then, I'm
right.
like, so, and then obviously the weekend prior, like, oh, I got to do this, I got to do that. Yes. But we're back. We're back here again on a Monday here on Couch Coach Live. But yeah, man,
Right.
as we
Hey,
close out 2024, yeah.
shoot, at least we doing it, man. We making it happen. Figuring out a
Oh, for
way.
sure, man. But yeah, man, this time of year, yeah, with the holidays, yeah. If you to pick a holiday smack dab in the middle of the week, yeah, next year will be a little bit different because that would be on a Thursday next year, so that'll be a lot different, you know, potentially.
Right.
Still other stuff will go, nowadays with the holidays. But yeah, man, how's everything going?
Man, opportunities, doors opening, and like me and you off air, you were saying how it's things slowing down, and it was. So like, my boss was like, hey man, it's a good thing you got a new job the way everything is moving so slow. So everything's on time, man. I have no complaints. I'm a little upset about my team on Christmas. You know what I mean? I was a little bothered about that, but that's about it, though. I can't complain, man. You know, it's, uh, how did you feel with Christmas, man? I felt like it was honestly. I just thought it was great. It was just sports all day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean Christmas was cool.
Yeah.
As far as everything, as far as from a sports perspective, because normally, they the good thing about it, Christmas Eve was like kind of the night that I really, in a sense, kind of celebrated Christmas as far as watching
Right.
Christmas movies, being with all my family, Christmas Eve.
Right. Right.
Then, then come Wednesday, because pretty much I started off with the pregame at 11, and then
Mm-hmm.
obviously the doubleheader at the
Mm-hmm.
watch two games at the Beyonce concert, as the young folks would say, as the Beehive would say,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
then was able to watch a classic with the Lakers and the Warriors, and
Mm-hmm.
obviously, and then of course, being an elder statement like myself at this time, past 10:30, I'm asleep. So so it worked out perfectly. It worked out
That
perfectly.
dressing, that dressing started kicking in. Like man.
Yeah, yeah. But that's the thing too. I'm glad what like for Christmas we don't really eat heavy, so it's kind of a good thing. Like, hey, we just like this time we had oysters on Christmas Day, but we had like all our stuff Christmas Eve.
Oh
Like we
word.
call it a heavy hors d'oeuvre type of flair. But yeah, but we just
Mm-hmm.
chill. We had like Christmas was just really like laid back oysters and leftovers from the night before on Christmas Eve. But yeah, it was a great sports, especially on the Wednesday too. To think to yourself, God, like
Mm-hmm.
let's start the week. But yeah, it was fun for sure.
I, I I think the only complaint I got was, I mean, you had it planned, like you said, and that, you know what? That's the first time, coach, that I heard somebody give an explanation of why they didn't have anything on Christmas Eve. It's because they gave it to families so they can come close and watch Christmas movies and blah blah blah. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what's up. I didn't. Nobody had brung that up. A lot of people was like bothered because they were cooking and they was rapping. You know what I mean? Wrapping presents and cooking and getting a little toasty that day, and
Yeah,
they was like, I can't believe no games on the day. They playing old games, and I didn't even think like, because family
yeah,
supposed to come together, you sit down and you listen to music and you watch, um Christmas movies. That was great. I think that them having the NFL on and having traditional, Bron and but the NBA had some really good basketball games that day, but it just gave everybody. It kind of pleased everybody. So kudos to the NBA and the NFL and Beyonce and Blue Ivy
Yeah,
too.
for sure. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. That's the thing about it, where I I didn't. I kind of thought that the games were going to be somewhat of a dud on a Wednesday, considering the fact
Uh-huh.
these teams played Saturday. Even though, because
Right.
you think about like the Thursday night football kind of situation where people always say, "Well, the games aren't good," but this year in a weird way, we had some good games. But generally, that's
Mm-hmm.
what typically happens because I mean, you got teams playing off of four, 3 days of rest, and and then you
Right.
think of, you look at how even it was still even in a sense because obviously Kansas City hosted Saturday, and they had to go on the road, and then the same thing for Baltimore, they hosted and then they went on the road, on Christmas Day, and vice versa, where Pittsburgh was on the road in Baltimore, and then they ended up hosting on Wednesday, and then Texans
Mm-hmm.
on the road and then hosted. So, I kind of figured it was going to be, I wouldn't say lopsided in that type of way. I figured the quality was going to be a lot different than Saturday, where you kind of get a little bit more time. So I'm assuming, once, you know, I think once we get the 18 game regular season and get those bye weeks going, 2 bye weeks, I think that's going to help improve the quality of those short games where you have like those 3 days of rest in between. But it is what it is. But it ended up, like I said, it ended up being a great sports day, and I think both of them can kind of have a piece of the pie. I think
Yeah.
this year worked out well where
Yeah.
um, both had an opportunity to kind of get the piece of the pie. Like I liked how everything kind of structured. How I was able to
Me
I
too.
watched both the NFL games, and I ended up watching the game. I really only mattered that I really wanted to watch was the Lakers and the Warriors, obviously, especially
Mm-hmm.
with LeBron and KD. I don't, how when we sit and think stuff, we may not get many of these. They're
Yeah.
starting to wind down. So,
Right.
it's kind of one of the things where it's like, hey, appreciate this while it's still around because
Right.
we may not have these type of matchups in the near future potentially. They're getting old.
Yep. Again,
And
no.
and your boy just joined the 40 club with us, man. So hey, come on, Brian. Come
Yep.
on the other side of on this couch and join a bunch of two other 40-year-olds, 40 plus. So, we're here.
Oh, okay. Okay. Let's stop. I
Right.
got you
But
though.
I mean, hey,
Hey.
we welcome him with open arms. The Club 40, we here, hey, nothing
No,
wrong with being in your 40s at this point in your life.
you be listening to '90s and early 2000 hip hop, and people be teenagers, and they be looking at you. I don't know what you listening to.
And that's how we looked at our parents maybe about
Right.
20 years ago, about the
I
70s. So,
know,
hey,
right? That's so
it's full
crazy, right?
circle moment. Hey,
Right? You would have ever thought it?
right.
That's
You
crazy,
tell
man.
me, right. Wow,
You
ain't it?
be even well. That's now we be. I'm like Busta Rhymes. It's time to sit down. Like seriously, like,
Right.
what I mean? Stop
And then
yelling.
and these kids had 2000 dates. So remember, like when we was in high school, it's like, oh yeah, we used to have like 70s, 80s people wear their bell bottoms. I'm like, when they say 2000s day, I'm like, what are you kids wearing? Like, are you making fun of me? Are you making fun of our baggy jeans and our oversized white
Right,
t-shirts and
right.
headbands?
Yeah,
I do,
they are. Yeah.
right, with a do rag and it's kind of hanging on the headband and got
Right,
string. Oh, come on,
right.
man.
And the worst thing
Make
is
fun of
the worst thing that
me.
Fat Joe and Snoop and Dre put an album out, right? And then I'm
Oh
listening to
wow.
it, and I'm like, I like it, but I'm still like, man, you use that for a hook, like
All
thank you
right.
for letting you be myself. I'm like, oh my god,
Right.
wow.
Right.
I don't think,
Yeah.
I don't think you should have used that one. But anyway,
Yeah. But we got a great show lined up for you tonight. So first, we'll start off with somewhat of some somber news with the passing of Greg Gumbel. We'll talk
Yeah.
about that. We'll talk about our Week 17 takeaways as we are nearing the finish line of the regular season of the National Football League. Our boy D-Jax going to Delaware State. Get ready,
Mhm.
So we're gonna talk about that, and we'll put a bow on the year, our best of 2024, our top moments of the year, and then we'll be a little clairvoyant tonight and kind of do some 2025 predictions and wrap it up on a nice bow with a game ball and our final thoughts. So we'll be right back here on Couch Coach Live. We'll be right back. We don't like that dog. Sean Talk got Big Kirko. He didn't have we thought going into the season, hey, Kirk Cousins would have a homecoming of sort against the Commanders last night, but it wasn't the case. Obviously, Michael Penix got to start last night for the Atlanta Falcons. But yeah, Big Kirko, man. He might come into our 2025 predictions, but stick around for that, and we might talk about his future and that one. But it's still a epic moment in Washington Commander slash Redskins slash Washington football team history. So I will always keep that, despite brother Kirk Cousins and his struggles. So that will always be a sound bite that we will always cherish here on Couch Coach Live. So as we talked about it earlier, obviously, we had some very sad news that came down on Friday, where Greg Gumbel, many people know him, obviously, is Brian Gumbel's older brother. Greg Gumbel passed away on Friday at the age of 78. Wow, it's almost, we can literally be here all day as far as everything, as far as what Greg Gumbel has done in his career. Pretty much, he's pretty much, in my personal opinion, one of the faces at CBS Sports. He did it all there, from hosting NFL Today with Terry Bradshaw, play-by-play announcer. He was actually the first African American play-by-play announcer in a major sports championship in the United States, when he did the Giants versus the Ravens Super Bowl back in 2020, not 2020, but 2001. He
Mhm.
did, I think he did baseball with them as well. Went to NBC. Also had stints with ESPN, MSG, doing Yankees coverage back in the day as well. He's done a lot. He's been like the pillar when we talk about broadcasters as far as all time. He would be like on that Mount Rushmore. So, what's your thoughts on the passing of Greg Gumbel?
All around sports class act. You know, when I saw when he started and they were showing how he used to look, and I was thinking to myself, the blessing that athletes that retired or wasn't playing anymore was able to have him as their lead to guide them through. And I'm sure when they had him, that they knew, okay, cool, he's going to help us. He's going to make it a specific way to make us look good, to maybe even help us get other jobs. Man, like, just the class act professionalism didn't make a difference what sport it was. He was consistent. I don't think I ever heard anything negative about him, or you know um uh any controversy. Just a class act. And like, I remember I was watching highlights, like you saw him at one time with Boomer Esiason, and then you saw him again, and you could tell on Boomer's face like how excited and happy that he was with him. And then I watched like this puppet with the NCAA college basketball, and I sat there and I got a really really good perspective of that because it was funny as hell. But at the same time, I'm sitting there looking at this gentleman was the lead, even though they're puppets. You know what I'm saying? He's the lead, but you got to see how each one of them, like Charles was asleep, and then Kenny Anderson kept turning around, you know what I'm saying, looking behind him, and he dropped his coffee on himself, you know. But the thing of it is, I felt like he was such a great lead that even if those things can happen, he can bring everything back like he's supposed to. So, man, R.I.P. to him. And I think he's also, when it comes to what we do and what, Dylan in these vlogs, these podcasts, anchors, or anything when you're necessarily got a microphone in your mouth, he's one of those ones that that set the tone and expectations. You know what I mean? He was everywhere, man. Like I could go all day. Like, I was sitting there when the Patriots, like he was everywhere. You know what I mean? And he's gonna be missed. And sending love and strength to his family.
Yeah, and I first, heard, and it's weird, like when you think about somebody, and it's
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who, I think I was talking with one of my family members, and we were talking about Bryant and Greg Gumbel, maybe like around like things,
Mm-hmm.
just at the blue. I think somebody asked, what are they still doing and what this and third, but anyway, but to hear, now fast forward to hearing the news on Friday, yeah, it's something where it's just it's what a year. Like as far as we've lost so many people. We especially
Mm-hmm.
Joe Emma, and that just ones I can remember off the top of my head. We talked about like guys like Pete Rose, the Dikembe Mutombo,
Mm-hmm.
guys who are like prominent in their respective sport as far as in their league or what have you. And the same thing go
Ken
here with
Griffey.
yeah, what, huh? Ken Griffey?
When didn't Ken Griffey's pops pass?
No. Mm-mm.
Okay. Okay. I
No.
remember a major baseball player passed. I can't remember his name.
P Rose. No, we talked about P Rose. Yeah, P Rose.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, P Rose died. Yeah, P Rose died. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah, and that's one thing when you look at like Greg Gumbel, he was always like, to me, I looked at him as the face of CBS Sports. I mean, obviously you got so many other guys at CBS, but as far as the constant, the thing about him, obviously with the NFL, I thought about the call when Baltimore went on that run in 2012/2013, when Joe Flacco hit that Hail Mary to, unfortunately, the late Jacoby Jones, and that call, that
Yeah.
pretty much that walk off win for the Ravens, that pretty much catapulted them to that Super Bowl. I think about that, and but all my all-time favorite moments with Greg Gumbel is Selection Sunday. I think Selection Sunday,
Mm-hmm.
he just did such a magnificent job. He was so good. It's like he made, who would have think you would make a selection show? All you're doing is just, you're talking about teams and where they're going to be seated. It
Right.
shouldn't be like in a moment that, oh man, but he made that moment. And I think, like, obviously, I talk about the NFL, we talk about even the NBA, but I think that college basketball, for me, the excitement for Selection Sunday. I even used to
Mm-hmm.
have a Markham at times, and it's like, he would say, in the Chicago region, we got the
Right.
Catamounts of Vermont
Right.
University, and that's like, all right, yeah, so we're back at it. But yeah, I just love those moments, and he'll be like, the Spartans of Norfolk State University, the Rams of Virginia Commonwealth University. and that type of stuff is always cool. And then obviously, and he always gives the best. He gave the best assist at the end of the national championship when he
Mm-hmm.
passed it over to One Shining Moment when the late Luther Vandross sings it. I'm telling you, man, that One Shining Moment when he passed the One Shining Moment, it's like, man, dude, that's magical. And it's like, and it's gonna be crazy now because obviously he wasn't on the selection show this year, and that's another thing. We're like, man, we're hoping he gonna be there for 2025. We talked about that obviously in the spring when he
Mm-hmm.
wasn't there. This year, we was hoping, oh man, well hopefully next year, but unfortunately,
Right.
so out of all the things he's done, I think the thing that really sticks out to me a lot is the selection shows, and what he
Mm-hmm.
did for basketball. So, but like I said, we could be here all night of the
Right.
many things that Greg Gumbel did, and it's funny when I look back at it, I'm like, yeah, he did do baseball. He did the Winter Olympics in '94. He did the
Right.
Olympics because he was a part of NBC when they had the Olympics in Atlanta. He was a part of that too. So I was like,
Mm-hmm.
it's when you have over 50 years of excellence, it's to even we talked about now I'm about 10 minutes. It's still to even we in my personal opinion just scratch the surface of what he has done. But yeah, like you said,
Right.
it will be truly missed. My condolences to his family, especially Alder Bryant as well. And so yeah, we definitely lost a legend at the tail end of this year, and then obviously so yeah, man. But
Yep.
yeah,
Sad.
it's
Great career
indeed
though.
phenomenal career, and like you said, and that's something that I think everybody will
You,
want to model their career after of
right.
that type of nature. So
Right.
yeah, for sure.
I can't like when I see icons like him pass, I wish when they was alive they would have had like documentaries about him or tributes about them so we can hear them like really talk. Like guys like him, I would love to be hear them talk on a podcast with some cognac or some coffee or something where they could just because I'm sure he has some war stories of what he had to overcome. You know what I mean? Especially being the public figure that he presented. You know what I mean? I know behind the scenes, there's a
Mm,
lot of things that he necessarily want to speak about um,
yeah,
that he had to overcome or let go of you know, to keep moving forward. And you got to understand when you say somebody that started where he started from, like you had to put, let's just be on even our race ahead of everything. Like I'm doing this to
yeah,
open doors for people of color behind me. Like that's just how it was. You know what I'm saying? It is what
yeah,
it is. And he's a
yeah,
Gumbel. So I remember how people used to make fun of his brother. They didn't really. I don't remember them saying much about Greg. I think a few people did, but at the same time, he went through some trials and tribulations, man, to keep that character and not. I mean, keep that what he was presenting, his brand of what he was presenting, and not changing. You know what I mean? So I
yeah.
would love to. I can't wait to. I know they're going to make. I hope they. I think they deserve it, both of them. But I would love. What can't wait to see a documentary on it, so you can really see where they come from, how they upbringing, what inspired him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and hopefully Brian can give us that perspective. Hopefully, and like you
Right.
said, that was
Right.
just those two alone. I've always thought to myself like, wow, just
Right.
how their conversations will be, like how it like,
Mm-hmm.
especially now we talk about the holidays and like just imagine what would they talk about at the dinner table,
Right.
and just all that. But yeah, man, icon, an iconic figure, and that's one thing too, where
Mm-hmm.
it's yeah, man. But yep. So what we're gonna do? We'll take it to the National Football League. We go to the NFL here, where essentially week 17, I call it the penultimate uh week before the season finale this weekend. Um, All right, what are your takeaways from what I think fairly was a pretty good weekend in the National Football
Mm,
League. What
yeah,
you got?
yeah. I feel like there's some teams that had players that needed to prove themselves so they can get another job because they're probably going to let them go, like the Giants with their quarterback. I feel like the teams that were supposed to show that we're not a B plus team, we're A, like the A plus teams did what they supposed to do. The B plus teams that might have played the A plus teams stayed B plus. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
some of them that could have been C plus stayed being B plus. So I think in some type of way, everybody kind of did what they supposed to do, except for like the Texans. Even if they lost, they still win in their division. Um, the Steelers had already clinched their playoff berth. The Vikings, moved to number one, but everybody still feel like the Lions are going to make it there. I think Tampa Bay, most likely always, you win a division, most likely. But I feel like Tampa Bay also wanted to show that hey, we're A plus or B plus team. Also, we're gonna make some noise in this playoffs by beating getting that other 40 point. I think it's like the second or third 40 point game um in the last probably like 5 or 6 games. But regardless, they showed their dominance when they needed to show their dominance. You know what I mean? So when you all balls down, is to probably the two best games was the Denver versus the Bengals um, game and the Commanders versus the Falcons. And I'm sorry, I picked this team to do well, but the Commanders got that electricity around them like the Texans and the Packers did last year. Like they really, you know what I mean? I think the Ravens had it last year when they played like the 49ers, where we just had this great feeling that this might be something special. But the Commanders, man, like I watched the highlights and I was into the game like, whoa, you know what I mean? So I think this holiday weekend everybody got what they wanted.
yeah, yeah. It was an interesting week. I'm really puzzled by the Giants and the Raiders performance. Like you're supposed to tank for Cam Ward and Shador. What are the Giants? Why are you putting up 45 points? What are you doing? What are you doing? And then
They know you don't want to go there.
with the and the Raiders beating the Saints in the quote unquote Derek Carr Bowl. Why Vegas? You need that pick. You need that pick. You need to go against Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes twice a year, Bo Nix twice a year. You gonna mess around and get Carson back, even though he might go good with Brock Bowers, but there might be a nice connection. But Saquon 2K, obviously he's the ninth player in NFL history to reach that mark. And they just destroyed the Cowboys without uh, Jalen Hurts, and for but the bulk of the game without Kenny Pickett. Tanner McGee came in and beat
Mm,
them. So now we're on record watch for the Eagles. And it would be funny. It would be poetic justice the fact that he's only 101 yards short of beating Eric Dickerson's record of most rushing
mm,
yards in a season. And he'll go.
mm-hmm.
He's going against the Giants next week. It's an old team, the team that on Hard Knocks say, "Hey, go out there and find your own deal." A man is about to break a record that's 40 years in the 40 years old. So I'm hoping he gets it. If I'm a betting man, which I might put a little money on it, um, he might get it. I mean, he's there. I hope hope they just get that record at this point. But I know Eric Dickerson don't like it, but hey, it is what it is, and you know records are meant to be broken, especially now considering the fact we have more games, and he got to realize he broke OJ record, and OJ did it in
Right.
14 games. I think he did it in 15. So
And the
hey,
younger generation don't know who Eric Dickerson is. Like, come on, man, got to move on.
yeah, shout out to ED. He that boy.
Can
Yeah,
I ask a
shout out to
question?
ED though.
Can I
Yeah,
ask a question?
yeah.
On Hard Knocks, Why would they disrespect that young man like that, knowing we all know how great he is? Why would they do
Yeah,
that?
yeah. Yeah, he told him found his own deal. He found his own deal in his backyard. He ain't have to move. That's crazy.
It's just like them firing Mike Brown the way they did. Like, how disrespectful. What's wrong with these organizations, man? Just being so
Crazy.
disrespectful.
Yeah. But yeah. Then also the Bengals beating the Browns to keep their playoff hopes alive. I tell you, the
Hmm.
Bengals feel like a cat. They got like 9 lives. And for some bizarre odd reason, every time we looked at this Bengals team, I think I've even made a joke at the time. I think they were like 4-6 or whatever. Or like they was like, I was like, this is like the best 4-6 team ever, you know. So for
Right.
them to keep on going, obviously, with that, I mean, especially considering the fact Bo Nix hit strikes for um Marvin Mims Jr. with like 16 seconds to go. I was like, oh boy, this about to Cincinnati about to be done. Denver about to clinch, but it didn't happen. Um, I look at the Chiefs and the Ravens dominating what the NFL deemed as the holiday remix. Pretty much going essentially 2-0 in those games. I always looked at those two stretch of games, the Saturday and the Wednesday games, were going to really help develop the picture in the AFC playoff picture. And then last but definitely not least, should have been the first on my list, but because it was Sunday night, uh, people have a saying called "When there's a will, there's a way. When there's a
Hmm.
Jaden, there is a way." Um, what a gutsy performance last night. This team is really have impressed me, and most time when we've talked about the Commanders, it's almost like they win in somewhat I call it a one-dimensional type of form. And it's weird because last week they beat Philly. They were killing them on them short drives, not dinking dunk, but
Hmm.
more like a 2 or 3 minute scoring drives. We were pretty much
Hmm.
trading touchdowns for Philly's field goals, and that's how he was able to come back. And then here in this game, especially in the second half, having those long demoralizing drives. And these are and it's weird because for years I've always talked about the Commanders' biggest problem was the time of possession, and
Hmm.
it used to kill. Shout out to my guy Rob. We used to kill us to be like, if we look at that stat sheet, what's the one thing you're gonna highlight? That time of possession. And it's funny now when you look at the Commanders now, especially in the second half. Having a 7 minute drive, 6 minute drive, and then even in overtime
Hmm.
pretty much having the ball for nearly 8 minutes, an 8 minute drive to win that football game. Um, yeah, this team is special. I think this is one of those where, and I, we got to put the NFL on notice. This is just the beginning. Wait till we, use our over $100 million salary cap next year, and get some good bargains in the free agency. I'm like, this team is here to stay. It's they and I said they were going to be a wild card team, but if you would have sat here and told me they have an opportunity to win 12 games this year, I would have said you were on drugs. Because that's how crazy how the NFC is. Well, I mean, I said they were going to be 9-8
I
and
know.
make the playoffs,
Right.
but I
Right.
didn't. I would have never thought in a million years that this team could potentially, worst case scenario, win 11 games. But they have an opportunity to win 12 games in a season. And we
Hmm.
haven't won that many games probably since like maybe like 1991, probably. Come to think about it, so yeah. But
I need to see how much of the mini game. I think I had them winning the division though, but I had them up there, man. I don't know why. I felt like what I felt like. I felt like nobody. It's new ownership, and you got a new coach. I just felt like it was new, and people aren't going to know.
yeah,
This ain't the same. This ain't the Washington football team. This is not the old Redskins. This is the Commanders, and I felt everybody was really stepping in with this new frequency, this new thing. You know what I mean? So walking into it, you don't know what you're going to get, and I looked at the schedule and I was like, man, I'm not gonna put it past, because I felt like last year, when you got ownership and everybody having your back and say, hey man, we want to move forward, we want to win, we don't want to be, you know what I'm saying, just wanting to beat the people in our division. Nah, man, we want to win. I just felt something different about y'all team. And then when I saw your quarterback, and what I like about him is his poise. He don't look rattled. He don't. I can't see him crying or something like that after they win a game. He looks like he's more like an old soul. Like he's wiser than most. You know what I'm saying? And he seemed like he a sharp kid. He ain't rough. You know what I'm saying? Even the way he run and the way he throw the ball, he looks smooth when he do it. You know what I mean? He's silky. And I saw that. I was like,
Yeah.
man, they're gonna be all right.
Yeah, and the only because I always thought what was going to happen, it was going to be like more of a seesaw. Like, hey, we're going to win one game, lose one, lose two. But for the most part,
Mm-hmm.
we only had really a bad stretch in November when we lost to
Mm-hmm.
y'all, Philly, and then Dallas. And that's the last time we've
Mm-hmm.
lost in Dallas. I mean, versus Dallas. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, even beating teams like Cleveland, like we beat them, how we destroyed them, how we beat Arizona, like we did. Even Carolina shocked me, even with Jay Daniels not, being in that game essentially. So it's like, it shocked me. I mean, some of these games, especially even the bad teams that we have faced, how we were able to take care of business really shocked me. I think even the Tennessee game, I definitely didn't think we were going to put up 42 against Tennessee. So I'm like, this is different, and it's just been fun. And if somebody would have told me that the Commanders would have won 12 games, I wouldn't even believe that. Like, and I'm always the one that put Washington in the playoffs every
Right.
year, probably for the last like 11 years. If you would have told me they would win
Right.
12 games, I'd have been like, nah, y'all overblowing it.
And when you look at them, right, they they y'all fast, right? Y'all fast as hell. Like they fast, but y'all really a physical team. You know what I mean? Like I watched them highlights and I'm like, y'all physical as hell, from y'all tight end to your receivers to your running backs. I was like, because y'all look more finesse and fast looking at you. You know what I mean? But man, y'all was running over people. You know what I'm saying? Y'all was looking for the hit, like, you know what I'm saying? Like seriously. And I'm like, I've been saying that from the get go. I was like, yo, something different about this team. Like
Yeah.
seriously.
Yeah, I mean, a lot has changed. Obviously, you got the perfect leader in the Dan Quinn. Just better on defense as far as very, like I said, physical, definitely defense. You look at like bringing in the experience, like a Bobby Wagner, Frankie Louvu. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's that's one thing where you have a good collection of guys that have been there. So it's like I think that's one thing that really has helped too, where you have a guy like a Zach Ertz who made that play, to win the game. He's won a Super Bowl with the Eagles. He's had, Super Bowl experience. Bobby Wagner, another
Mm-hmm.
one. He's had experience. Obviously, he's been with Dan Quinn in the Seattle days, with that famous LOB squad. And yeah, and that's one thing too. Like we have I forgot who said it, but we got adults running the team versus, and I think the first step was get Dan Quinn, because I at first I won't feel in me because I'm like, well, but then I thought about it. It's a need versus a want. Like I was saying in the offseason, I want a PlayStation 5, but I need a coat because it's cold. I need to stay warm in the winter. Dan Quinn is the coat. Ben Johnson, who's now the coordinator for the Lions, was the PlayStation 5. Everybody wants him. Hell, the Cowboys want him now if they get rid of Mike. Everybody wants him. That they linking him to so many jobs in this next cycle. But hey, we got the coat. That's what you need. You need the coat to keep you on this. And I think that's what's the perfect about this team. That's what was perfect about getting a guy like a Dan Quinn, where the leadership. He's been there before versus having a guy like a Ben Johnson who really hasn't been there as far as from a culture perspective. So it all, in my personal opinion, all worked out for the Commanders, and that's why pretty much they're sitting at 11-5 at this point, and potentially being a 6th seed in the NFC. But yeah,
Right, right.
yeah, yeah. So we'll transition now to NFL/college football, where our
Hmm.
guy Deshaun Jackson, aka D-Jax, he is now he's named the head coach at Delaware State University. Um, Obviously, Deshaun Jackson had 15 seasons in NFL. The Eagles, Commanders had a stop. Tampa, I think he played for the Rams. Did he play for the Raiders too? I think, if my memory serves correct. But yeah, he said that.
Hmm.
Coincidentally, so Delaware State last year was 1-11, and one of their losses actually was to the University of Richmond, and they lost 38-24, was out there, and on that one, and their last win was on August the 31st when they faced Sacred Heart, with a 17-15 victory. So they've had 10 straight losses. Now enters Deshaun Jackson, and a press conference for Deshaun Jackson is officially going to be on January the 8th. Your thoughts on D-Jack leading the Hornets? What you got?
Congratulations. I didn't see that coming. With the come to Deshaun Jackson, we only know what he presents us. I've never seen him uh speak. I've never seen him like speak, and you'll be like, okay, damn, he got a strong football IQ or anything like that. So, and that's just me. Not saying that he don't have it. I just never really seen him or looked at him that way. So, congratulations to him. Maybe they saw something that I ain't never seen before. Like for instance, if I had to pick like Steve Smith, what's his name, Junior, Steve Smith Junior, whatever. Ain't that the one that
Oh
used to play
yeah,
for
yeah,
Carolina? Like
yeah.
him, like him, the poetic way he speaks about the wide receiver, um like what they do and this and that, I would think he would be a coach because he pay attention to details. Chris Carter, like Chris Carter to me would be a great coach because he had potential. I think he hit a ceiling, and then Randy Moss came in, and then he also had the dark side of being being an NFL player, then redoing him, recreating himself. And then, so somebody like him, like I was like, damn, he'd probably be a good coach. You know what I mean? But when I speak of those gentlemen, they are like a generation above me. So Deshaun, I feel like is my generation, and him going to Delaware State, it's you got to be able to relate to those young players. So kudos to him. I think a lot of people were saying, that's cool. They going to ACs, that he going to black colleges, but as the NFL or these bigger schools going to pay attention. But I just feel like when that comes, it comes. Let's just be happy that they coaching and they're actually going to these, get head coaching jobs for these college schools. You know what I mean? Um, who I think should get one? They keep saying that they blackballing the offensive coordinator for the Kansas City Chiefs. I
Oh,
think he should.
Eric Bieniemy.
Yeah, I think that maybe he should go and maybe not. He might be able to get a better school. You know that?
Yeah, because currently he's at University of Washington as an offensive specialist because he got fired at UCLA.
Oh, he
So
was
yeah,
he
he
was a
got fired at
coach or offensive
UCLA.
coordinator?
He's
He was a
offensive
coach.
coordinator at UCLA. No, he's offensive coordinator at
Oh,
UCLA, and then end up.
wow.
I don't know if they say he got fired, but I don't necessarily think it's kind of one of those things where it's like, hey, we're just gonna let you go. We're gonna just let you just say you resign, like that type of thing. Where it's like, hey, this just ain't gonna work out. That kind of like almost like I would almost like kind of like what happened with Bill Belichick with the Patriots last year, kind of like just
UCLA, ain't that
unceremonious. Yeah,
doesn't ain't
Deshaun
they ain't
Foster.
that where the Ain't that where that quarterback that reminds you of Patrick Mahomes play?
Oh no, yeah, Nebraska, Dylan Raiola.
He's so stupid.
Oh my god, you talk about? Oh my god, I seen him play because they were the Yankee at Yankee Stadium, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just so funny. Like after they was done and they won, man, I was like, this dude is not. This dude, every time I see Dylan Raiola, I just be laughing. Like I'm telling you, if you ever like, yeah, just to see his mannerisms, dude, I'm telling you, it's literally Patrick Mahomes, and it's freakishly scary, and it's funny
Right.
because like because they beat Boston College, right? So obviously when the game
Mm-hmm.
over, he do the snap and he just like doing this, and I'm like when you see when Patrick Mahomes win the Super Bowl, like that type of
Right.
moment, and that's how he had this kind of moment. I'm like, yo,
Mm-hmm.
that dude Dylan Raiola is funny, but yeah, so he's now at the University of Washington as I think he's like what they call like an offensive specialist. I think that's what he's at. Yeah, he just got hired maybe like last week or two. But yeah, that would be a perfect spot. Because I always wanted him to go to Colorado obviously before Coach Prime was there. Um,
Mm-hmm.
because he went to Colorado.
Oh, okay.
I always wanted him to go back to Colorado, and I mean, it might be an availability one of these days. But yeah, I think he would be perfect at ACBU. I think he should. I mean,
Well,
if opportunity
it
presents
seemed like
itself.
they keep saying he getting blackballed and he can't get a head coaching job, and then people saying he deserve it. But I'm not mistaken. There's a few coaches that said, I mean, few players that said they didn't like him. Um,
And yeah,
who was it? Was it
Shady. It was Shady. Shady.
yeah, it was
Shady was
Shady.
LaShawn McCoy. Shady. Yeah, Shady
Right.
McCoy. Which I think we might have to give him an apology. I mean, you know how the young kids say like what you like now they're realizing we might have to might gotta well that might we should give Shady an apology because he kind of told us
Mm-hmm.
kind of everything as far as the play calling and what have you, which
Mm-hmm.
we knew, but it's kind of like, hey, a lot of people we discounted because essentially he had coffee in Kansas City, but he was there longer than any of us was talking about Eric Bieniemy. I mean, he's only there from like December to like February. He's on there for maybe about 2 months. So, but even with that, he was around longer than many people who commented and was saying it. So yeah, I think Shady McCoy that's adds to his lore of he know what the hell he talking about. I know because a lot of
Mm-hmm.
times people look at him like I think sometimes certain things he say it's almost like he has the right message, but he may not be the right messenger. But
Right.
I think that's definitely an example of like the Eric Bieniemy situation. But yeah, but I think it would be, but I think what these schools are kind of going for, and I like this path where these guys are going because, and this is where it's funny. I hate when this is when people say, well, these NFL guys they never give back to their communities, they don't give back to stuff. This is a perfect example of going to an ACBU and and I talked about Michael Vick 2 weeks ago, him going to Norfolk State. And to me, it's all the same. I still have the same excitement for both of these guys. And I think
Mm-hmm.
Deshaun Jackson, I think I know Big Red. I forgot what Big Red said about but he got his support. Sean McVay obviously has his ringing endorsement as well. I like it. I think he's another one where he has gone through some trials and tribulations, and um, those kids can learn from him. I think that's the thing about all this situation. I don't. I know people. I know people look at it from the scope of he can bring in money or he can do this, and I even to what I said with Michael Vick, where the impact that he's going to have on these kids' life, and it's not. It's going to be beyond X's and O's and on the field, but you can have someone that has an NFL experience to say, hey, if
Right.
I want to make it, if I want to make it to the NFL, you can show me the way because you've been there. So this is a
Right.
great opportunity. And you come on now. You, you go how you go how can you convince some 17 to 20 something year old kid to go to Dover, Delaware? You bring in a guy like Deshaun Jackson. I mean,
Right.
let's we keep it real. We keep it real. But
Right.
so you look at it just from that standpoint, if he, having that experience and learning from someone like him. And I think that's the beauty
Hmm.
thing about what we have now. Obviously, we talked, about the whole Dion going to Jackson State, and
Right.
Eddie, and keep forgetting about Eddie George, what he's doing at Tennessee State.
Right.
He's doing a great job. And I think even with this, and I said this with Michael Vick 2 weeks ago, I just hope that, just don't expect quick results. Be patient. And that's why I mentioned that this team was 1-11, and actually seeing them play last year. I wasn't at last year. Actually, it was this year in September. And this team was 1-11. They haven't won a game since August, so they're
Right.
going to come in this coming the season with a 10-game losing streak. So be patient, support Deshaun Jackson, and
Right.
hey, and it's one of the things where hey,
Right.
I think we're starting to see more prominent, and it's going to be that pipeline, and I think that's where
Mm.
and then I think Dion, what he's doing, kind of where he went from Jackson State, then going to Colorado, and I know a lot of people saying, well, that Colorado wasn't a good job going in, but hey, it's a start. So that's the thing where
He
hey,
did. Yeah.
right. So what you say, and then what you can say if Michael Vick does a great job at Norfolk State, he can have other opportunities for him to go somewhere, or what have you.
Right.
So it's just like it's all about because and I hate that's why I think people fail to realize all you need is a start. It's like all you need is some way to get you going to take you to the next level. People look at stuff on the surface. Oh, well, you're here, but there's still steps and levels to this. This ain't
Right.
the end all be all. You got to start somewhere,
Right.
and I think this is the perfect path because, and I think, and shout out to Carl Reed, and he said why a lot of guys aren't in college because of this, as far as the big major schools, because you think
Right.
it's processes like you want these kids to be graduate assistants, and it's just like the pay's not there. Especially if a
Right.
young coming up and coming, and then especially if you've been
Right.
playing like professional ball, not the NFL, but more like the arena leagues and this, that, and the third. You're 30 something, 32, 33 years old. You can't be a GA. You got a wife and a kids. You can't be a GA because you ain't, what I'm
Right.
saying? Like you can't afford, so this to me, I think is going to be the best path. And it's not more so of like the NFL stars that we talked about, more like I think those 20, 30-year-old young men that have played professional. And then it's like tongue in cheek, but more so like when they know it's over in their mind, but they still keep going,
Hmm.
knowing that
Right.
you need to wrap it up. You know what I'm saying? You know, as far as your career wise, and I think
Right.
that can help those type of young men going in the future. Not saying that not have another gold jacket S type of player going to HBCU, but I think more of those maybe like college stars potentially or what have you, those like younger guys. Even though Deshaun Jackson, he's 38, but those type of guys down the line. So I'm excited for both of these teams, and so I'm looking forward to
I
seeing
think
what they do, and I'll be rooting for them for sure.
one thing I think about Deshaun Jackson that you can kind of like compare to Prime is going to be the social media aspect of it. Um, because that's the social media, like to me, the social media aspect of Colorado Buffalo is what helps them bring a lot of revenue in, which helps the university. You know what I mean? There's a lot of players that I probably would never know if I didn't watch their social media or watch their show on YouTube. And I look for them now. You know what I mean? Like I look for the dude that played for the Card. He played for the Cardinals now. You know what I mean? I think that's one of the things that Dion did to necessarily understand to keep eyes in and help the university bring some money in. You know what I mean? And that's part of having a celeb or an athlete, because they do have, because a lot of times when you sign these contracts for sponsorship, it's almost like a lifetime one. When I'm listening, watching Gil talk, he talk about Adidas. You know what I mean? Because that's who he has signed to, and that's who he has partnership with. So, I believe when you get someone like a Deshaun Jackson, he's going to bring that also, not just it's also going, like, regardless of what Dion said, like, he brung and helped Jackson State. Jackson needed help. You know what I mean? Also, with a lot of things that they had, so he brung that. You know what I mean? But then you only can, a shark can only be in an area. It's got to. He was bigger than that. He had to go to the next level, and just seemed like Colorado gives him whatever he wants. They trust him. They trust what he want to do. They see the money coming in. You know what I mean? And I'm hoping. I'm saying I think this is important too, man. Like, I know everybody talking about Bill Belichick going to NC, but NC is already North Carolina. You know what I mean? He's going to Delaware State, and I'm hope just like Michael Vick. Norfolk State is Norfolk State to us, but I'm sure Michael Vick is going to bring some extra stuff in there that's going to help also. You know what I mean? So that's really what I got to say. I think that Bill Belichick may not saying I North Carolina's North Carolina. Bill Belichick, I can't see him understanding that part of it, even though I'm sure he has his own setup of how he's going to do things. But Deshaun Jackson is hip hop. Deshaun Jackson is a naughty dread. You know what I'm saying? Iced out chain. And I feel like he understands social media. He understands what's the thing that everybody's doing right now. You know what I'm saying? And the truth be told, because a lot of dudes on podcasts, I'm starting to see a lot of them on the sidelines of some of these football and basketball teams. You know what I mean? So it's like organizations are starting to listen to them a little bit more. But that's it. You know what I mean? But I do
Yeah.
think that's very important.
Oh, for sure, yeah, and he'll have a draw, obviously, with ties with,
Hmm.
especially with Eagles and what have you. And almost like
Hmm.
what I talked about with
Right.
Michael Vick a couple weeks ago.
Right.
Just curious how their staffs will be, and I think that's the thing that really intrigues me
Hmm.
about, like, who are they going to bring with them, and as far as will it be, as far as you know, some of his, some NFL connections, some connections at Cal, even though he's been away from
Hmm.
Cal 20 years ago, but just in general, like as far as how he would, I know, I know Chip Kelly won't be around. Obviously, Chip Kelly's at Ohio State, but that's just tongue in cheek because obviously he was not a fan of Chip Kelly. But yeah, I'm
Did you
really just
ever?
curious how it goes. Mhm.
Would you ever thought that Deshaun Jackson be a head coach of a college football team? Would you thought that?
No, I was shocked. It was funny because obviously
Yeah.
when the news came out last week, um, even though I know this person who who put it out, got Jeff Lightly Jr. He put it out, and I'm like, that came out of left field. But and I know he's credible, and it's not like he's like it's truth to it. Like it's because he's
Hmm.
really locked in when it comes to HCBU stuff. So uh, I was shocked. I mean, especially considering the fact we've already kind of have had like the whole because the Michael Vick, that's another one. I think Charlotte David Till, he talked about this months
Hmm.
ago, like maybe not even months ago, maybe a few weeks ago, and I was like, huh, that like yeah, and it's funny like how you get these news from credible sources, and you're still like,
Hmm.
really, like and I think that's what's so sad about social media nowadays, where it's like even though you're I didn't question them, but it's just like, wow, that's crazy to think that they want him as a coach. They, not saying, but more so, it's kind of one of those moves where, and like you said, it's kind of one of those things where you don't know because a lot of stuff, even though we're outsiders, but as far as we
Hmm.
sometimes we get insider information, but I never thought of putting those two like Michael Vick, Norfolk State, Deshaun Jackson, Delaware State together. So when you first hear the news initially, it makes you like interesting. And
Mm-hmm.
then now fast forward how all this news kind of came into fruition, where literally it was when there's smoke, there's fire. Where when that news came out about the both of those, they end up becoming true, and it just spread like wildfire. So
Mm.
yeah, but hey, looking forward to them in the fall, and
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
yeah,
Congratulations, man.
yeah. I wish Delaware
And
State was
in
on the schedule. Yeah,
and on some real stuff. And shout out to Delaware State for even giving him a chance. You know what I mean? Because
for
when
sure.
I think of Deshaun Jackson, I think of we saying, man, he's fast, he this, and that. But there was always, perception of he was a troublemaker or just, egotistical.
Chip Kelly. One word, Chip Kelly. And
Right.
I thank Chip Kelly because that's the reason why he came to Washington. So sometimes your blessings, sometimes your shortcomings be the blessings. So
Right.
so yeah, so definitely shout out to Chip Kelly for that skating article and got him out of town, and he came to Washington. I remember when that happened, I was like, don't let him out the building. They say, oh, he's coming to visit Redskin Park. Oh, don't let him leave without give him a contract tonight. Don't let him leave. I was like, do not. I was like, if you do one thing, you lock that door, you keep him in here, you put a pen in his hand, and he signed. Get him, he don't leave this building until we sign him. Because that was one of the smart moves they did back in the day. I was like, yes, get Deshaun Jackson. We need him, and it worked out. So he was a part of our 2015 NFC East Championship team. So definitely shout out to D-Jax. So we shall. All right. So that's not good. Let's not dig back in the past, but we kind of dig back a little bit in the past. We'll just keep it in the year 2024. So, man, this year's over, and sounds weird to think that we get ready to go into 2025. We're almost halfway through this decade, but which is crazy. So, what's your top 3 sports moments of 2024? And you got some honorable mentions as well. So, what you
Okay.
got?
Cool. I got boxing. Ryan Garcia versus Devin Haney, which went to a majority decision to Ryan Garcia, and Ryan, going up to the game, they were saying he was on drugs. They were saying he was going crazy. He was saying that he was kidnapped by the Illuminati and all this other stuff. Really gave a lot of publicity, but it was a crazy fight. You know what I mean? So that's one for me anyway. Definitely the NBA, the Olympics, and watching KD, Booker, Embiid, um, LeBron, Steph, AD, the whole team. If you watched every game, each one of them had a thing where they actually showed one of their strengths, like AD. On the fast break, got him some blocks that just came out of nowhere. You know what I mean? Joel Embiid, what I think he's the best at is using his feet and posting up a guy on the inside. Remember that game? He went crazy and did like a front
Yeah.
flip.
Mm-hmm.
So the Olympics definitely winning that gold. And then Bronny and LeBron playing together. Um, and I guess I could say, honorable mention Travis Hunter, the rise of the WNBA. Like I really wanted, it sucks because I really wanted to slip that in there because I think that is really big, which is probably about 4 or 5 years ago. Everybody was saying that they should make the rim come down, to make the rim shorter and make the ball like, all this weird stuff because they was like to make it more exciting, they need to be dunking. And truth be told, they're gonna help, I think, the NBA transition into this streaming stuff because everybody was watching the WNBA and they was watching it on Hulu, they was watching it on Amazon Prime, and nobody complained. about it, and they just watched it. You know what I mean? So that I'm gonna throw it to you. If it had to do with my team, the Steelers, you know, being able to get Fields and Russell Wilson for hardly nothing.
Yeah. So obviously the match, obviously like you said, the Olympics, obviously that gold medal game against France.
Mm-hmm.
Steph Curry is going off, and I just like that moment where I felt like everybody kind of came together in the sports world,
Yeah, yeah,
which is very weird because now everybody's so divided, regardless
right,
of said topic. Like it could be, if this was an NBA game, it would be like, oh, it'll be a difference of opinion. So for everybody,
right,
we all came together and be like, man, Steph is just clutch. He's one of the greatest shooters of all time. Everybody was saying that. As far as
mm-hmm.
even people that don't even watch the sport, everybody came together. It's like, man, this is a great performance. So I like that. When Vanderbilt beat Alabama, that was such a great moment. I'm
Mm-hmm.
always a fan of upsets, young kids going down the field, celebrating, taking down
Mm-hmm.
goalposts. These kids took the goalposts in the river. And I'm
Right,
like, I love that. I love when they do that type of stuff. And I know sometimes what they call field storming, court storming, it could be somewhat of a health, a risk. But hey, when you can beat Alabama at your place, you throw all the rules out and let them kids enjoy it because this is a moment they probably would never ever feel. This is a story they can tell their grandchildren, and I don't even think their grandchildren will experience a Vanderbilt win over Alabama.
mm-hmm.
It's that crazy, but it was that good of a game. I look at that. Obviously, let's see, Michigan winning the national championship. That was, that run definitely considering the fact, the dominating performance of the defense, especially, um, even though the year prior we had a lopsided national championship game with Georgia and TCU. This game was a little bit closer, but Michigan kind of dominated in this game. And it's just one of those things where it's like it was great for Jim Harbaugh, the prodigal son of Ann Arbor, to win a national championship. And now fast forward, seeing what he's doing with the Chargers, it's phenomenal. Um,
Mm-hmm.
excuse me. And then I said, yeah, and Michigan, holding Washington to and Michael Penix Jr. had 2 interceptions in that game, and
Mm-hmm.
what he did. Let's see. Obviously, the Hail Mary, Jay Day is connected with Noah Brown on my
Oh
40th birthday.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
so euphoric. That was by far the greatest moment of the season. And then I think that Monday Night Football game, Cincinnati versus Washington, when we won. That's our first time we won in Cincinnati since 1991 to get a win almost early to the day. I think that game was September 23rd. Last time we beat the Bengals was September 22nd, 1991. So that was crazy.
Wow.
Honorable mention, the one that shocked me, and it's like one of the things where it's like you remember where you were when this happened. When I found out Nick Saban retired, and it was so funny because I was on my way to the VCU women's game. It was on, I think it was like on a Wednesday. It was like on a Wednesday, and I was listening. I think I was listening to some radio on my way to the Siegel Center, and it's like we have breaking news: Nick Saban's retired. And I remember going in the at the Siegel Center, like telling people like, yeah, Nick Saban retired, man. Nick Saban retired. And then other honorable mention, the shocking one was when Coach Calipari went to Arkansas. So yeah, but it's been a crazy year. It's been kind of one of those years where it's like a lot has happened. And I
Yeah.
remember, when Nick Saban, and that was in like January. That was like the first or second week of January. And I remember
Right.
saying like this probably August is probably one of the biggest stories of the year, and the year just started.
Right.
And and Nick Saban, and I might have a prediction for him coming in 2025, potentially.
Oh, really?
We'll see. We'll see.
I can't wait.
I don't want to tease it. I try to tease it a little bit. So, so we talked about our favorite moments of this year, this past year, 2024. And as we turn the page for 2025 on the second half of this decade, so we got to give out our top 3 predictions for 2025, and also we can do some honorable mentions as well. What are your 3?
I'm so freestyling. Okay. First one, the Commanders will win a playoff game. And I'll do an honorable mention in a minute. All right. But the Commanders will win a playoff game. Jaden Daniels will win Rookie of the Year. And Boston will lose in the first round. 2 to the Pacers.
Okay.
Hold on. Either the Pacers or Orlando. It's okay. I'm gonna give you 3 teams. Okay, I don't want to front. I'm gonna give you 3 teams.
Mm-hmm.
It's either the Pacers, Orlando, or the Hawks. It's gonna be one of those 3 teams, like that. You'll be like, wow, they lost to them. You know what I mean? So, my honorable mention is that the Commanders will make the NFC Championship.
All right. So my first one for 2025, actually, I think LeBron will announce that he'll be retiring at the end of the 2025-2026 NBA season. So I think we'll be in for a farewell tour this year potentially. It'll be announced. I put it that way.
You said 26 or 25?
Yeah. So in other words, he's going to announce it probably in the summer, right before the start of the 2025-2026 NBA season, that this will be his last season. So I would assume about September, October, we'll get an announcement that this is it for him. And I think he, as far as if it is his final year, he needs to let everyone know. I'll put it that way.
Right.
Yeah, I got a few. So I got a strange feeling. Netflix will host a NFL playoff game this time next year. So it'll be announced that Netflix will have a wild card game or a playoff game streaming. So we'll probably find that out probably during Christmas. They'll probably advertise that. I can see that being a theme because now you're looking at Amazon now will have a playoff game this year. So I'm thinking Netflix is going to be next when it comes to, because I think it's all going to ultimately set up, and this is not a 2025 thing. This might be a 2028, 2029, where Netflix will air the Super Bowl. I think they've shown Christmas Day that, hey,
right.
And we can put 65 and 27 million for a Beyonce concert.
Right.
Hook, line, and sinker. And then just imagine the advertising dollars that they can get from a Netflix, like as far as from that. So it all pays itself. And they already have got a big time performer like a Beyonce. It sets up for itself.
And they paid her.
Yeah, 20 mil.
Yeah, they don't pay them for the Super Bowl performance.
Super Bowl, yeah, because they only pay for like for the people, like as far as the wardrobe and sound and all that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they give them a budget for that, but yeah, they don't pay the artists. But yeah, so that's another thing too. That could be another one down the turnpike. And it's funny. I looked at Indiana, so when I looked at a TikTok of this young kid that was Indiana fan from womb, and he, excited about the season that Indiana has as far as making to the college football playoffs this year. I think I'm gonna have my moment the weekend before Christmas next year, University of North Carolina will make the college football playoff. So guess what? I'm gonna have my moment the weekend before Christmas next year. I'm gonna have my moment, just like them Indiana, that young man from Indiana. I'm gonna have my moment. I can't wait.
I was drinking. I hear you. I
Right.
can't wait. You're so
I can't wait.
silly.
So I
I
got
feel you.
2 honorable mentions. Deion Sanders will lead the University of Colorado for an SEC job. I think
Ooh.
the SEC job will potentially be around. It's too early to tell what team will be available for him in 2025. I'm thinking that if I want to kind of narrow it down, I think if Mike Norvell have another bad year, I think the prodigal son coming home to Florida State. So I know that's an ACC team, but if I had to zero in on a team now, if I'm thinking now December 30th, 2024, that I think could be available, say 50 weeks from now, it might be the Florida State job. I think if Florida State have another bad season, the prodigal son might be coming home. The prodigal son might be coming home in 2025. That's all we can hope for, right? And I think this is going to happen. I think out of all, I think if I swing for the fences, I think this could be the one at my first hit that might predict. I think Tom Izzo going to retire from college basketball at some point. I think probably going to be in March after the run, because he's it of the previous generations. Because now obviously with the news of hearing Jim Larinaga stepping down the other day, the coach in Miami, he stepped down. We talked about Tony Bennett about 2 months ago, right prior to the start of college basketball season. I think Tom Izzo, I think he gonna ride off in the sunset in 2025. And one more, and kind of ties to my UNC to my UNC situation. So if we have a successful season like that, we go to Charlotte, we host up the ACC trophy. Nick Saban coming back to coaching. I think if he sees Bill and the success, I got a strange feeling Nick Saban is going. I think Nick Saban has an itch. I don't think he want to scratch it yet, but I think if Bill is successful, he's going to scratch that itch and get back to coaching.
How old is he? Ain't he like 80?
Nick Saban's only, I think he'll be Bill like the same age, because Bill will be 73 in April. His birthday's in April, I think.
Right.
I think Nick Saban. Let me see, because Nick Saban. I think they're right around the same age. But I think Nick Saban might be older than him. Come think about it. I look up his age, but yeah, Nick Saban. I want to say Nick Saban's only like 72, 73.
Right.
But I think the coach in him, the ego, like the ego kind of sense coaching. Oh, he's 73. Yeah. So, he's a Scorpio. He's born on Halloween, October 31st. Yeah, 1951. So yeah, he older than Bill, because Bill was born in 52. So yeah, they about a year. Yeah, a year apart. But yeah, I mean, I got a strange feeling. I think if Bill becomes successful, or Nick can come. Well, no, that's right. He can't come because Steven, the defensive coordinator. So he would be a hell of a defensive coordinator. Oh, we think we had Saban on the staff? Oh boy. Yeah, put us in the national championship. No, no. Put us in the natty.
Man.
But yeah, 2025 gonna have some surprises. It's gonna be a fun year.
I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked. I believe it.
But yeah, I think if I had like 4 or 5 of them, I said I might go two for 2. I say 3 for 5. I think 3 of them gonna hit potentially, but we shall see. So we gotta do our picks. We got an interesting
Mm-mm.
slate of games, and that's one thing I love about this time of year, especially obviously now we're in the semifinal round of the college football playoff. The first round of the playoff was a dud, but hey, but we survived it. But hey, I definitely think these will be some better games. Man, tomorrow night, New Year's Eve. What a game. We got Penn State versus Boise State. Who you got in this matchup?
I'm going with Penn State.
Give me Penn State as well. Give me the fighting Mike Robs. All
Mike
right. Then
Roll.
we got an early Wednesday matchup. We got a triple header of games on New Year's Day. There's been bragging rights as far as who holds certain days. Do the NBA now? NBA's for Christmas now. The NFL's for Christmas. But for college football, New Year's Day is king. College football and New Year's is synonymous with each other. It's like peanut butter and jelly. It's a perfect match. We got Texas versus Arizona State. Who you got in this matchup?
Texas.
Texas. Okay. Yeah, give me Texas as well. And probably one of my favorite New Year's Eve traditions, the Rose Bowl. I'm gonna tell you one thing. Seeing that sunset off the mountains in Pasadena at the Rose Bowl will make a grown man cry. We got Ohio State versus Oregon in a rematch of the October 12th matchup. Who you got in this matchup?
Ohio State.
You got OSU, okay. All right, yeah, give me Oregon. And no, Kirk Herbstreit, if they do lose, Ryan Day still keep his job. So, Herbie, you my guy. I'm never gonna say anything negative about Ohio State because I ain't Shannon that. Herbie, you my guy. Herbie, I want to be like you when I grow up. I want to cover an NFL game on a Thursday night and then fly across the country and do college football on Saturdays. Trust me, I want to be like you. And it's not too late.
Right.
Even if I'm a senior citizen, I'm trying to be like Herbie.
Trying to be like Herbie.
So, yeah. Then we got the nightcap. We got Notre Dame versus Georgia in Atlanta. Who you got?
I'm going with Georgia.
Okay. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with Georgia too. Because even though they don't Carson Beck is out, I'm still like Notre Dame. This is another one where I think there's levels to it, and I think unfortunately, Boise State and Arizona State and Notre Dame, they're not in the same weight class as these other teams. Even with a backup quarterback, I think UGA gonna win. All right, so I love the NFL. We always got these great. I love how they do the schedule makers. They did it right ever since they did the divisional opponents. You got to play a divisional opponent at the final week of the season. That was perfect. Roger Goodell knocked it out the park. So we got the Browns versus the Ravens. Now, with this game, if the Ravens win, they will win the NFC North. So with this win, they will officially win the NFC North. I know who you got in this matchup. I know who you root for in this matchup.
The Browns. You know it. How did you? I didn't want you to know that. I'm definitely going for the Browns.
I would too, for sure. I want to have a home game next week. I want to, yeah.
But from what I'm, if we lose, I'm hearing with the team we'll be playing will be the Texans. Like if we end up being the wild card, right? They say we play the Texans, so it's like, okay, you got to start thinking like, who would you want to better have a chance with playing? You know what I mean?
So would you rather have Houston on the road or would you have the Chargers at home? That's going to be an interesting thing.
Yeah.
Because you have the
I
Chargers
honestly,
coming to
I think
y'all.
I think it really wouldn't make a difference, but I think I'd rather have the Chargers at home. I would say the Chargers at home. You want to know why? Because I think the Steelers was very disappointed losing the way they did on Christmas. I heard
Yeah.
from the third. I think the third quarter, like the people were leaving.
Oh yeah, because it was it was over. It was not close at all. Yeah, so I definitely think the Ravens will win, and they'll, in my personal opinion, will win the NFC, the AFC North, and
That's
and the
crazy.
Harbaugh brothers will play again in wild card weekend. So that'll be interesting to have that game, and I think that's gonna happen. Now
Crazy.
they saved the nightcap for the best part. Woof.
Oh, this is the best one right here.
Get your pen and paper ready for this. All right.
Mm.
So we got the Bengals versus the Steelers matchup. Okay. Boys and girls, ladies, gentlemen, all of this. All right. So we'll do the easy part first. So obviously with the Pittsburgh Steelers, they have clinched a playoff berth. So they will either be the third seed or the fifth seed. So if they win, so if Baltimore loses and they win, they will win in the AFC North. And they'll be the third seed. If the Ravens win, then the Pittsburgh Steelers will be the fifth seed, and they'll play Houston. And there is a chance for the Cincinnati Bengals to make the playoffs. All right, follow me now. Cincinnati can win, right? They got to win. They got to hope for a Denver loss, and Denver plays the Kansas City Chiefs, plus a Miami Dolphins loss or a tie. So they need help.
Yeah, been there.
So this game, before the game started, it could already be settled. Where if Baltimore wins, so you got the Steelers, you gonna roll with the Steelers, obviously.
Of course. You always pick the
Yeah.
Bengals to do well. You always pick the Bengals to do well, and I'd be like, man, no, they ain't. And then he's like, I'm telling you, end of the season.
And for some bizarre reason, even though I'm telling you, the Bengals are they are literally on their 8th life. I got a strange feeling they're gonna win this game, but they're gonna have to wait, which is so crazy to think. Their fate won't be decided until to the next day, which is spooky because now you think yourself, okay, we get home back to Cincinnati, get some rest, get off your legs, and then you're like, okay, do we all come together at the facility to watch the Miami Dolphin game and the Kansas City Denver game? So low key, I'm rooting for the Bengals to win. So it adds more intrigue to Saturday. Because if Denver loses and the Dolphins win, the Cincinnati, I'm gonna tell you one thing. I know Buffalo is probably like, man, Denver win. Please win. I don't think they will want to face Cincinnati. That's a dangerous team to face this time of year. They're scary.
Right.
Like if you let the cat in the back alley with that knife life in, oh, they're gonna attack you. It's gonna be a problem for sure.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
Steelers all day.
Facts. So then we have one other game that's of playoff significance because pretty much everything. The only thing that's up for stakes in the NFC. Well, we've already kind of discussed the last playoff spot for the AFC. Essentially, Cincinnati has to have a Denver loss and a Miami loss. All Denver has to do, Denver just has to win. If they win against Kansas City, they are in. The Miami Dolphins, on the other hand, they have to win plus a Denver loss. So their path could be a little bit easier than Cincinnati. Cincinnati has to have 2 teams to lose. So the only game that essentially matters in the NFC next week will be the Detroit Lions versus the Minnesota Vikings. We're recording the show now, and if everything comes into play, we're hoping that these teams both come into this matchup at 14-2. It's not looking good for the Detroit Lions as we're airing now. This is now a 9:45 Eastern Standard Time in the East. I think they're still losing at this point. But so essentially, what's up for grabs? It is the NFC North title. But the winner of this game will get the number 1 seed and have the bye. The other one has the potential to either go, I think more likely they'll either go to the Tampa Bay Atlanta winner. So pretty much for the NFC South, Tampa Bay win, they're in. Tampa Bay loses and Atlanta win, Atlanta's in. So when this game happens on Sunday night, they'll know who they'll be facing. The loser will know who they'll be facing at wild card weekend, while the other one who wins get to chill and get off their feet for a couple days and and get ready for the divisional round. Mm-hmm. So with all that being said, the NFC North Championship on Sunday night, game 261, the final game of the regular season. Who's going to win the NFC North?
I'm going with the Vikings. I'm going with the Vikings. I think they got that number 1. I don't think they want to lose it. And their first 14 game. It would be the first time they won 14 games, I think, since like '98. So I think they got it, and they just, I think they I think they're gonna get it, man. I just think they're gonna get it.
Yeah, as we air here now at 9:45. So the Lions are down 13-21 at the half. So so obviously when you listen to this, the game will be over. But anyway, it doesn't really matter at this point because it's still a win and you win regardless of the circumstance. So give me the Detroit Lions winning this game. They are my Super Bowl 59 prediction. And I will continue to double down on that. I don't care what's going on in Kansas City, Missouri. I don't care what's going on in Missouri. Give me the Detroit Lions in this win. Bite kneecaps while all the teams are biting each other kneecaps next weekend. They'll be off their feet. Get some rest. Sit on the couch. Get the extended. Get on the L shape of your sofa. Rest your legs. Rest your body. Get in the cold tub. Get a panty and a matty. Be with your family. Have a great meal. And while we all just beat each other to a bludgeon next weekend. Well, not next weekend, but the following week. It is Monday. I keep on forgetting this is the beginning of a new week, but next weekend, get your rest, Detroit Lions. So see, I got the Lions, man.
I got the Vikings, bro.
Yeah. Shout out to Sam Donald, man. That's a hell of a story, man. That's a hell of a story. Man.
And it goes that way, man. Like sometimes he really had no expectation on him. And I think a lot of that had to do with that. You know what I mean? Just go out there and ball out, play with, trust the system, trust what you got around you.
And you got great weapons. You got a great coach in Kevin O'Connell. And it's man. And it was, and that's the thing about it's so weird about you dream to be in a position like this, But then come the offseason, you're gonna be scrambling because Sam Darnold was supposed to be like the bridge the gap to JJ McCarthy, and lo and behold, JJ McCarthy gets hurt like in the preseason, and so it's like, what are you gonna do? Like, and it's like, God, like, how can you not keep Sam Darnold, but you drafted JJ McCarthy?
That's a good question, but I would think you got Sam Donald there because I don't know. NFL is weird because you draft a young player, you say he wants to be your future, but then I think you should get a quarterback that has experience to, you know what I mean? That's a pro that has experience to. That's what he's supposed to do. Like let me give you an example real quick. Charlie Batch was a backup for Ben Roethlisberger. You know what I mean? And Ben was drafted to eventually start. I think Neil O'Donnell got hurt. But once Neil O'Donnell was out the way, like Batch already knew. All I gotta do, if Ben is hurt, all I gotta do is win us some games. You know what I'm saying? And when Ben come back, you know what I mean? When Ben come back, it goes to him. You know what I mean? And he just played his role,
Yeah, and the thing is, because he was, to me, it's almost like how, I don't want to say it like, I'll use this as an example. Almost like kind of what's going on in Atlanta, where,
right?
I think it's like the inverse, where I don't think they thought that Kirk Cousins was going to struggle to the point where they was going to get, that they was at the bench and put in Michael Penix Jr. And I thought what's going to happen in Minnesota was Sam Darnold was going to struggle, and then at the end of the season, that they were going to put in JJ McCarthy to see, hey, to kind of, because I didn't think JJ McCarthy was going to start from the jump. I figured if Sam Darnold was going to struggle, then he could be benched. Like, he's kind of the stopgap. Like, he's somebody that can help for now. But at this point, I mean, this ain't a fluke. I mean, you 14-2. Like, this ain't, this ain't like Atlanta where you're hovering and over 500, and he was, because he was more of a stopgap to just, hey, help JJ McCarthy along, but he's taking over this team. So, and like I said, even if they finish 14-3, that's still a great year. Like, that's the crazy thing about it all is, and I would not be surprised if down the line they get rid of, as far as divisional winners having a home game, because you think to yourself, the Chargers, even though if you got Tampa Bay, I think they both like 8-8. No, they 9-7, and Atlanta's 8-8. So it could be a situation where if Atlanta wins, a 9-8 team will host a team that has won 14 games. And even if Detroit and I think Detroit will hold on and win tonight, but whoever loses that game still gonna be 14-3, and they, so they're gonna have to go on the road and face Atlanta or Tampa Bay. And Tampa Bay probably might be 10-7 if they win, which I think they're gonna beat the Saints on Sunday. But you're 14-3. You got to go to Tampa Bay or Atlanta, and God knows if you go to Atlanta, you'll be 9-8. That's crazy,
right?
And because I know a lot of people when we was in the playoffs and Tampa came, I forgot Tampa. I think Tampa may have been like a 12-5 and whatever. And we were like 7-9. And I'm shocked they didn't change it then. But hey, we was the stopgap. They had a little pit stop at FedEx at the time. Was FedEx on the way to win their Super Bowl. So who's to say? But yeah, this might be the one where they might look at that and be like, I don't know, because you know how the league is. people had knee-jerk reactions, and then they
Mhm.
always act quickly. So I
Right.
wouldn't be surprised there will be a discussion about this next week as far as how could a 14-3 team go to a 10-6 team and on the road, so it's be interesting.
Yeah, but shit happens. You know
But
what I
yeah,
mean? Hey.
hey, that's what I said. And I don't mind it because to me, if you win your division, I think you do deserve a home game. Like I said, I can't be like against it because it didn't work in our favor. But I mean, we host a playoff game against Tampa, and even though
Right.
a lot of people did, but Tampa ended up winning the Super Bowl, so it really didn't even really matter.
Right.
Because if it was at Tampa
And
or yeah,
that was y'all won a division, right? Y'all won y'all division,
yeah,
right?
hmm
But like it was a bad even that division. Like this is what y'all saying it was bad. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
you won
we
your
said that,
division.
yeah.
Yeah. I think I had quarterback issues, right?
Everybody had quarterback issues, yo. Yeah, but we had
Yeah.
that's when we had Tyler Heineke.
I
Taylor
know. I know.
Heineke
I was
when
talking about that today. I was talking about that today.
yeah, that's what he was our COVID quarterback. He was the one where we signed him. Essentially, he was just finishing up school. He had just finished like
Right.
his final exam, and he came to Washington.
Right.
But
Then they
yeah,
waived. They let him go. The Falcons let him go, right?
yeah, he with the Chargers now. Yeah,
Oh, he was the Chargers. Wasn't he? He was with the Falcons, right? And then he went.
he's with the Falcons.
Did
I think did they
did he go?
trade? Huh?
Did he go to? Did he play for Tampa Bay? I mean, with behind your man. I don't know
Um,
why I feel like he went to the
he was with
Bucks.
Carolina. He was with Carolina.
Okay, and then he went. And then he
Because
went
he
to
was
the
with
Chargers.
Cam, yeah. Because that's how because at the time our offensive coordinator, Scott Turner, who now with the Raiders, he was with him in Carolina. So
Okay.
but yeah, he with the Chargers now. He backing up Justin Herbert
Okay.
in LA. Yes, yep.
That's
He's
what's
still
up. At least
doing
he's
that
still
job.
working, man. At
Oh,
least
for
he's still
sure.
working.
He came in one of the games. Oh, when was it? Was it Thursday night? Because Justin Herbert got nicked up in one of the he was out for like a drive. And he came in. I want to say they won against Sunday Night Football when they played the Chiefs. That's right. Yeah, when they played the Chiefs, maybe about this was right before Thanksgiving or right after Thanksgiving. He came in and for like a drive. He came in, but yeah. So got to give a game ball out this week. Who gets this week's game ball for you?
I'm freestyling, man. I was gonna give it to this show on Netflix, but I'm gonna give it to the Commanders, man. I'm gonna give it to the Commanders. Like by me living here, and I got a lot of Commander fans, and I know a lot of people going through a lot, you know, and to hear them excited. You know what I'm saying? And going through social media and everybody say, we back young. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's
Yeah,
it feel real good. But yeah, I'm gonna give it to the commander and the commander fans and Jaden Daniels and I'm gonna give it to also to Travis Hunter for winning a Heisman.
yeah, for sure. Oh, I guess this week's game ball. I just keep it simple. Got to give it to Greg Gumbel. Unfortunately, with the passing of him. So, especially just look at like as we talked about earlier on the show, the impact he's had on sports and sports media in general, and just being multifaceted and talented. And I think one thing people, and they didn't talk about this in the beginning, but just the simple fact of having that ability to be as versatile as he was, being a play-by-play announcer and also being able to host. Like I think people don't understand like there's levels to it. Where it's like you look at how, you know, there's levels to it, and it's like and for you to excel in both of those realms is it's legendary. So that's he gets
Mhm.
my game ball this week. So we'll round out to this tonight's Couch Coach Live, and actually the Lions are just tied. It's 21-21, so we might have that 14-2 versus 14-2 on Sunday night. We're hoping. So, final thoughts before we head on out.
um Man, another year, coach. Another year we done got through.
Yep.
We've been going strong since 2017, man. Another
Yep.
year.
Yep.
Appreciate you, love you, bro. You know.
Yeah.
Final thoughts, man. You know, happy new year to everybody. And you know, everybody get ready for these new opportunities and this new that's coming.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, man. Once again, yeah, definitely appreciate you too, as well, bro. I love you too, man. And yeah, man, another great show, another great year. Yeah, another great year on Couch Coach Live. Um, great, had a lot of great opportunities this year. Very thankful for the
Hmm.
opportunity, being able to, a lot of stuff, being able to do this year. Uh, covering the UFL, the DC Defenders, back out doing NASCAR last year, interviewing Joe Gibbs. That was phenomenal. There's so much stuff that we did this year. Second year covering University of Richmond football, obviously. Third year covering VCU men's and women's basketball. Um, Covering the A10 women's tournament, being a voter. And I thought that was the neatest thing, where it's like, hey, being able to vote for certain awards for that tournament. So it was great, man. It was especially in being a part of that as well, man. But yeah, so once again, another great year. Um, Pretty much the website, couchcoachlive.com, social media, and also be on the lookout tomorrow for our final NFL top 10 power rankings. Kind of bittersweet, and I'm so proud of myself for being consistent. They should be transparent for the 18 weeks straight of giving you guys weekly power rankings. I did it consistently for 18 weeks. A little slow hand clap for myself for being consistent with that. I know sometimes I've struggled with sometimes consistency at times. So, and hopefully in the new year I will expand on more consistency. But because I know sometimes I definitely fall short. I know I fell short a lot last season, but we're back at it. But yeah, social media. What you got going on social media wise?
Man, going on. It's got a lot of new stuff coming on with me. Like still in talks with a lot of opportunities with this microphone and these headphones and stuff. It's
Okay.
coming. But social media, Deshaun Morgan, Facebook, DT Morgan 78, Instagram. But yeah, man, you know, I still, appreciate you for all the opportunities. Appreciate some of the other guys that are friends of the network, Tony, Cool,
Yeah.
um, and a few other guys that we've talked. What's my man from Denver I like so much?
Oh,
Um,
Jordan.
yeah, Jordan, my
Yeah.
man from that, like the Giants, like um, what's the dude that like the I think is it Jacksonville? He used to be a quarterback. I was talking about him
Oh
yesterday.
yeah, Thad. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Thad. Yeah, Thad. All
Yeah.
those dudes, man. I hope everything going well with them, man. Like, I really like when they come on the show. I really like to talk to Thad, though. I want to talk to him about Shador. You know what I mean? But man, just appreciate y'all. I know that's my social media and all that stuff. But yeah, man, things coming.
Yeah, for sure. Matter of fact, I
Rest.
do need to reach out to Jordan. Yeah, because now with Black Monday looming, this time next week, we definitely need to do a Black Monday show for sure. So,
Hmm.
uh, because I like how we do the little coaching carousel show. What did we did that last year and then 2 years ago? So yeah, because Black Friday is always an interesting day. Always,
Hmm.
even though you don't want to, it's a day rooted in coaches getting fired in the National Football League, which is
Hmm.
it's not something that should be celebrated, but it's just a part of the business, and it's unfortunate because obviously behind these firings there are families that have to uproot their lives, especially if you got school age children, they may have to go to another school in the middle of the school season, and just
Right.
like little stuff like that. I think, but I always just look at it from the standpoint of okay, what's going to be the best job, who's the candidates, like that type of stuff. And then obviously between now and the Super Bowl, you'll get who's interviewing for who job, who's available, what's gonna be the first domino that's gonna that's going to drop because obviously you have multiple coaches applying for different. They'll be applying to the same job. So like like we talked about it earlier, like with Ben Johnson, with Detroit, and then Aaron Glenn. So they're probably going to be having interviews. They connect with each other. I'm just saying for the Jets, they might meet like Ben Johnson might meet with the Jets on a Tuesday.
Right.
Aaron Glenn might do it on a Wednesday. So it's kind of that intrigue. Then more so anything, I don't necessarily, like I said, I don't like the fact of like guys getting fired and losing their job, especially in this type of climate, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But just the sport of what's next and kind of how these teams are going to build for the future. So that's all. That's the intrigue more so than not the firing portion of it. But it's always fun. So it's a fun exercise to do.
Right.
Yeah. So we're rounding out 2024. We will see you guys in the new year. Our final episode of 2024. Oh man, but we are here, and
when we say new, we mean new. That's great.
And I will make sure not to tell people Happy New Year's. I'm going to say New Year. I'm one of those melanated folks that like to put S's on everything. Yeah, so when people talk about people, they talk about me because I put S on everything. Wawa.
My own S's.
You
say
Moors.
You say Wawas.
yeah. That's what I'm saying. I'm one of the folks, one of the melanated folks that do that. And I'm from Virginia.
I caught myself today. I was trying to say from scratch, but I said from scratch or something like that. And I said, ooh, I am not from the South Side. Let me stop. From scratch.
Yep.
Let me stop.
And I know, and I always struggle with trying to be proper, but then, because that's always my issue, like trying to be proper and then just like saying, because I think sometimes when I talk in my normal dialect, sometimes people don't hear what I say. So that's why I always kind of say it proper.
Right.
But that's what I think we all struggle if you're from the South, kind of that, But shout out to Xavier Leggett. He gets us. we get him more so than he gets us. But shout out to Xavier Leggett. But so this wraps up 2024, and we will catch you guys in the new year. And we're out.
You're welcome.